allegations and gives a suitable apology if the Speaker so requires. I therefore directed Senator Chirange to substantiate his remarks as required pursuant to Standing Order 1051. However, Senator Chirange was not able to substantiate his statement instantly and requested for time to do so the next sitting day pursuant to Standing Order 1052, which is today. Now, accordingly, and pursuant to Standing Order 1052, I now invite the Honorable Senator Samson Chirange MP to forthwith substantiate his statement, failure to which the Senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121. In the absence of such substantiations, the Senator will be required to withdraw the statement and apologize to the Senate. Honorable Senator Fernandi, you may proceed to substantiate.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. As per your direction and the ruling, you had indicated in the last on the issue of substantiation that I present what I'm going to table to show my substantiation, Chair, to prove that the former president is linked or associated in support to Linda Mwananchi. So, Chair, I will table because it was humongous. I just brought the link because he would have brought it would be a whole lorry, Bandora Papers, Uhuru Kenyatta family secret assets exposed by WikiLeaks, and I provided the link to those assets. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I have also provided a link to full registered political parties to show that Linda Mwananchi is not a political party or registered anywhere. Finally, Chair, also various links of both written, spoken, and speeches linking President Uhuru to the outfit, and I provided several links to that indication because of the humongous. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to table.
Thank you. You may table. I will review that and make a further communication on the same. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
It is up to the Speaker to review the material that has been tabled and communicate further. During my further communication, you'll have time to seek whatever you want to seek, Senator Bond. You'll have your opportunity. Next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 236, 2B, I hereby report a petition by Mr. Laban Omusundi seeking for limitation of tenure of nominated members of county assemblies to 1 term. As you are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including to enact, amend, or repeal any legislation. The issues raised in this petition are as follows: that Article 56 of the Constitution obligates the state to put in place affirmative action programs designed to ensure that minorities and marginalized groups are provided special opportunities in political representation. That Article 9 of the Constitution established party list nominations as a mechanism to correct historical exclusion and expand representations, not to entrench privilege. The re-nomination of nominated members of county assemblies amounts to a deliberate subversion of the Constitution intended to convert nomination slots into a closed system of political reward and patronage. That the continued recycling of the same individuals through nomination illegally converts public positions into personal property, locks out thousands of deserving Kenyans, including youth, women, and persons with disabilities, defeats the very purpose of affirmative action, and erodes public confidence in democratic institutions. Now, the absence of a statutory term limit for nominated MCAs has created a dangerous legislative vacuum being exploited to capture and privatize constitutional opportunities. That while elective offices such as president, governors, and other positions are subject to term limits to prevent entrenchment of power, there is no limit to the number of times a member can be nominated. Thereby, nominated positions designed for inclusions are becoming lifetime entitlements. That unless this is urgently addressed, nomination slots risk being captured permanently by a small, self-serving political class, thereby transforming a progressive constitutional safeguard into a tool of exclusion and injustice, and that this matter is not pending in any court of law or any constitutional body. Consequently, the petitioners praise that the Senate establishes a legal framework of imposing a strict one-term limit for all nominated members of county assemblies, with no exceptions or transitional loopholes. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, I commit the petition to the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights. And in terms of Standing Order 238-2A, the committee is required, in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading this prayer, which is today, to table the report in the Senate for consideration. I thank you. Next order. Senator Sige, you kindly take your seat. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 236-2B, I hereby report a petition by Mr. Mohammed U. Alasso, seeking for the reintroduction of the Elections Amendment Bill. As you're aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter which is within its authority, including to enact, amend, or repeal any legislation. Now, the most important issues raised in this petition are as follows. That the petitioner seeks for the reintroduction of the Elections Amendment Bill 2021 to amend the electoral laws to permit candidates contesting elective positions to have their popular or commonly known as nicknames included on ballot papers alongside their official names. That many Kenyan voters, particularly those in the rural and marginalized communities, know candidates by their popular names rather than their official names. That the absence of popular names on ballot papers contributes to voter confusion, candidate misidentification, and rejected ballots. That including popular names would enhance voters' ability to identify the preferred candidates, reduce voter confusion and electoral errors, strengthen electoral transparency and integrity, promote inclusivity, particularly for less literate voters, and increase public confidence in the electoral process. Consequently, the petitioner prays that the Senate reintroduces, considers, and passes the Elections Amendment Bill. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, I hereby commit the petition to the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights for consideration. And in terms of Standing Order 238-2A, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading this prayer, which is today, to table the report to the Senate for consideration. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Majority Leader, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Wednesday, 15th July 2026. The Gambling Control Licensing Regulations Legal Notice number 111 of 2026. The Gambling Control Conduct of Gambling Operations Regulations Legal Notice number 112 of 2026. The Gambling Control Foreign-Based Operations Regulations Legal Notice number 113 of 2026. The Gambling Control Advertising Regulations Legal Notice number 114 of 2026. The Gambling Control Gambling Appeal Tribunal Regulations Legal Notice number 115 of 2026. The Gambling Control, the Conduct of the National Lottery Regulations Legal Notice number 116 of 2026. Thank you. I beg to lay.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Request for statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. The Senator for Mombasa County, the Honorable Mohamed Faki. That statement is dropped. Senator Faki had 2 statements. Both of them are dropped. The Senator from Machakos County, the Honorable Agnes Kavindu. That statement is dropped. The Senator from Busia County, the Honorable Andrew Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I have a statement. My request for a statement is on the prolonged delay in appointment of a substantive Director General of the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53, Clause 1, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on a matter of national concern regarding the prolonged delay by the Board of the Kenya Medical Research Institute, brackets KEMRI, to appoint a substantive Director General of the Institute. Mr. Speaker, sir, the position of the Director General of KEMRI has remained vacant since 2022, with successive acting appointments made for more than 3 years. This continued absence of a substantive office holder at such a strategic national research institution raises concerns about leadership stability, succession planning, and institutional effectiveness. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1. Details of all acting appointments at the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, including the list of persons who have served in acting capacity since 2022 and their eligibility for substantive appointment. 2. The legal and policy basis clarifying the framework governing the duration and renewal of acting appointments made since the Director General position fell vacant in 2022. 3. The reasons for the prolonged delay in appointing a substantive Director General, outlining actions taken by the KEMRI Board to resolve the matter and the outcomes of such efforts. 4. The steps being taken to resolve the issue, detailing measures being undertaken to facilitate the prompt appointment of a substantive Director General. Signed, Andrew Mtatwa Koiti, Senator from Busia, 9th July 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator from Murang'a County, the Honorable Joe Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for granting me the chance to read the statement by Senator Joe Nyutu on the delayed production and issuance of new generation motor vehicle number plates by the National Transport and Safety Authority. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transport and Housing on a matter of national concern regarding the delayed production and issuance of new generation motor vehicle number plates by the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite motorists complying with registration requirements and paying the prescribed fees, many continue to face prolonged delays, raising concerns about efficiency, accountability, and fairness in service delivery. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the reasons for the continued delay in the production and issuance of new generation motor vehicle number plates. 2, the total number of pending number plate applications as at 1st July 2026, disaggregated by county vehicle category and the duration for which the applications have been pending. 3, NTSA's current production capacity, including plans to expand, modernize, or decentralize production and distribution with clear timelines. 4, the status of procurement of raw materials and other inputs required for the manufacture of number plates. 5, the immediate interventions being undertaken by the Ministry of Roads and Transport and NTSA to clear the backlog, ensure timely issuance, and protect motorists from penalties or enforcement action caused by institutional delays. Signed by Senator Joe Nyutu, MP, Senator from Murang'a County, date 1st July 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Tharaka Nithi County, the Honorable Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have two statements. I think I'll be around to read both of them. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on a matter of international concern regarding the safety of Kenyan nationals in South Africa following the recent wave of anti-migrant violence in the country. In the statement, Honorable Speaker, the committee should address the following. The extent of impact of the recent wave of anti-migrant violence in South Africa, targeting foreigners, including the number of Kenyan nationals affected by the violence, and details of those assisted or evacuated to date under the government's voluntary evacuation program. But, Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the support and evacuation measures, outlining assistance provided, the number of distressed Kenyans registered for evacuation, timelines for their return, and arrangement for their safety until evacuation. Number 3, Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the long-term protection strategies, detailing government actions to safeguard the Kenyans in South Africa and the diaspora generally, including early warning systems, crisis response protocols, and frameworks for timely interventions in similar crises in the future. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Mofaya CBS Member of Parliament of Tharaka Nithi County. The second statement, Honorable Speaker, it is on a recurring cattle rustling and livestock theft along the Tharaka-Kitui border. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on a matter of county-wide concern regarding recurring cattle rustling and livestock theft along the Tharaka-Kitui border. Mr. Speaker, sir, on 30th of April 2026, 150 goats belonging to 3 traders from Gatue location, Tharaka North Sub-County, Tharaka Nithi County, were stolen at Sekulo town in Kitui County. The incident is part of a recurring pattern of livestock theft that continues to threaten lives, livelihoods, and security along Baraka, Nithi, and Kitui border. In the statement order of Speaker, the committee should address the following: the status of investigations into the cattle rustling and the livestock theft incident of 30th April 2026 at Sekulo town, including whether any of the stolen goats have been recovered and the measures being taken to pursue and apprehend all suspects involved in the incidents. But two, Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the security gaps identified along the Baraka, Nithi, and the Kitui border and the steps being taken to address them. But the Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the reason why cattle rustling and livestock theft persists along the border despite existing security arrangements. The last one, Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the long-term measures being implemented to ensure the safety of traders, held unders, and residents in the affected areas, including timelines for deployment of additional security personnel. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Nairobi City County, the Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Speaker, as you know, we have been on recess. We just came back this week, so I have 4 statement material that was gathered during that period. I can take all of them at once.
Okay, if you have the strength, you may proceed.
Strength is the only thing we have, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding the use of Credit Reference Bureau information by employers as a precondition for recruitment. Mr. Speaker, while the CRB was established to bridge the financial information gap between lenders and borrowers and to help financial institutions mitigate lending risks, its emerging use in employment screening is increasingly locking out many qualified young people from job opportunities. Negative listings deny otherwise competent applicants the chance to secure employment, even though such jobs would provide the financial empowerment necessary to clear the debts that led to the listings. This practice raises serious concerns about fairness, data protection, and the broader implications for youth employment and economic growth. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the reasons for employer reliance on CRB information in recruitment screening despite its primary purpose of helping financial institutions assess credit risk. 2, the mitigating measures to be deployed to permanently safeguard job seekers from the vagaries of CRB information being used by employers to deny job seekers opportunities that may in fact help them clear the debts listed in the CRB. Regulatory mechanisms in place to protect private data held by the CRBs from misuse by individuals and institutions with ill intentions. And finally, measures for fairness to balance financial accountability with equal access to job opportunities, including the government's initiatives to harmonize employment practices with constitutional rights to fair labor and economic participation. The second statement, Mr. Speaker, is pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. I seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing on a matter of national concern regarding the delay by the Engineers Board of Kenya to process applications for registration of graduate engineers. Mr. Speaker, according to EBK's service charter, an application for registration as a graduate engineer should be processed within 4 months upon receipt of a complete application and compliance with the registration requirements. However, applicants have raised concerns over delays in the registration process, with many applicants having waited for over 10 months despite attaching all requisite documents and paying the registration fee. This state of affairs has denied the affected young Kenyans various job opportunities and made the already difficult economic climate worse for the affected individuals. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number 1, the capacity of the Engineers Board of Kenya, including whether the board is fully constituted and adequately resourced to undertake its functions, the pending applications detailing the number currently awaiting processing, the reasons for the reported delay in processing applications, actions taken to resolve them, and timelines for finalizing the registration process. And finally, Speaker, the long-term measures outlining policy and administrative reforms to prevent recurrence of such delays. The next one, Honourable Speaker, is also pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding remuneration disparities between Kenyan and foreign employees in international media organizations operating in Kenya. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, the oversight mechanisms in place to ensure fair treatment and equal remuneration between Kenyan and foreign employees in international media organizations operating in Kenya. Number two, plans by the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection to undertake a comprehensive audit of the remuneration and employment benefits for Kenyan and foreign employees in international media organizations currently operating in Kenya, with particular focus on international media, where several Kenyan journalists, producers, camera operators, editors, technicians, and other media professionals have raised concerns regarding wide disparities in benefits. And lastly, the corrective measures, where necessary, detailing steps to address disparities and guarantee fairness, equity, and compliance with Kenyan labor laws. Finally, Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of countrywide concern regarding the persistent delays in disbursing terminal benefits and salary arrears owed to former workers and retirees of Muhoroni and other sugar companies in the country. Mr. Speaker, the sugar sector, which for decades has sustained millions of livelihoods across the Western Kenya sugar belt and contributed significantly to the national economy, is now a source of hardship due to poor management, weak regulatory oversight, and failure to honor obligations to workers. Despite reported budgetary allocations, former employees of Muhoroni Sugar Company remain stranded within company premises, uncertain of when their dues will be settled. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, the budgetary allocation specifying the latest funds earmarked for settlement of terminal dues to former staff in the sugar sector. Two, the timeline for such payment, clarifying when salary arrears and benefits will be disbursed to former workers and retirees of Muhoroni Sugar Company. Thirdly, the protection of affected workers, including assurance that those currently residing within company premises in Muhoroni and the other sugar factories can be retained until their salary arrears and terminal benefits are fully settled, and confirm that they will not face eviction before their dues are fully settled. And finally, Honourable Speaker, the situation in other sugar companies, with particular focus on the terminal benefits and salary arrears owed to former workers and retirees of Chemilil, Nzoia, Miwani, Mumias Sugar, Sony Sugar, including indicative timelines for settlement where available. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Senator for Kisumu County, the Honourable Professor Tom Ojienda. Professor had 3 statements. All those are dropped. Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to read a statement on the wastage of public resources and the ballooning of wage bill in the county government of Machakos. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on a matter of countrywide concerns regarding wastage of public resources and the ballooning of wage bill in the county government of Machakos. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Office of the Controller of Budget, in its county government's budget implementation review report for the financial year 2025-2026, reported that the county government of Machakos incurred expenditure amounting to Kenya shillings 249.15 million on domestic and foreign travels incurred by officials of the county government. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the number of domestic and foreign trips undertaken by officials of the county government of Machakos during the financial year 2025-2026, indicating the officers involved, purpose of the destinations, and of purpose and destination of each trip, approval criteria, budgetary allocation, actual expenditure and value of the money derived from the travel. 2, the number of employees of the county government of Machakos, including staff serving in the office of the governor, indicating their designation, terms of engagement, remuneration, and the total count wage bill, and whether their employment and remuneration comply with the ceiling prescribed by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. 3, the reason for the expenditure of 200 Kenya shillings 249.15 million in domestic and foreign travels, and the ballooning count wage bill, and whether the expenditure was budgeted, approved, and incurred in accordance with the principles of the transparency and accountability and prudent public financial management. 4, details of audit and investigations undertaken into allegations, financial mismanagement, wastage, and misuse of public resources within the county government, including the findings, persons held accountable, and any remedial or recovery measures instituted. 5, the measures put in place by the county government to prevent and detect wastage and misuse of public resources, strengthen institutional oversight, and provide accessible channels through which members of the public may report suspected misuse of county resources. Senator Agnes Kavindu Mudhama, MP, Senator Machakos County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Before I allow comments on the statements, I have this communication to make. I would like to acknowledge the presence of a visiting delegation of 2 teachers and 64 students from Kitondo Boys in Makueni County, who are seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. Now, on behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I will call upon the Senator from Makueni, the Honorable Maanzo, to extend a word of welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to welcome Kitondo Secondary School from Makueni, Boni constituency. Mr. Speaker, one of the secondary schools which is doing very well in exams is a boys' school. Mr. Speaker, this morning, although they were not recognized, I had Ukia Girls Secondary School here, and I had an opportunity to meet the Kitondo boys when they were at the public gallery of the National Assembly this afternoon. I would like to welcome them and urge them to learn and hope that they are going to work hard, and one day they will be representatives of the people and will be members of this House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome them.
Now, Honorable Senators, I will allow comments on this request for not more than 15 minutes. And therefore, if you get an opportunity to speak, kindly do so for not more than 3 minutes. The Honorable Boni Halwale. The Honorable Maanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to comment on the statement requested by the Honorable Nyotu. Mr. Speaker, this is about the number plates. And I'm aware also there have been quite a number of controversial issues relating to NTSA, Mr. Speaker. In our order paper today, number 14, is a report of the delegated legislation which had annulled 3 of their regulations. And while we went on holiday, Mr. Speaker, they thought they will enjoy, the wind, and by effluxion of time, these regulations will come to force. Unlucky for them, Mr. Speaker, we have to vote for them. And the Kenyans must know that this House has pronounced itself on those regulations, and they are pending a vote of yes or no. And similarly, it's already a report of annulment. Similarly, those regulations Honorable Nyoto is talking about, they have never gone through the parliamentary process. Mr. Speaker, I've been in the Committee of Delegated Legislation now for 13 years. 10 years in the National Assembly, 3 years in this House. They have never been presented in either of the houses. And a matter which involves counties like that one of number plates, Mr. Speaker, would have come to this floor, would have come to the Committee of Delegated Legislation. Unfortunately, it never did, and it is already being implemented, and no wonder now Senator Nyoto is making a request of statement on the same, Mr. Speaker. Finally, I would like to comment on the statement of Honorable Okoiti, Senator for Busia, about acting position of the person in charge, the chairperson of KEMRI. Mr. Speaker, KEMRI is a very important institution doing research on medical issues in the country. We've got quite a number of threatening issues in the country and in the world, like Ebola, and these are the people who will be directing the country. Mr. Speaker, it's only fair that the government appoints a substantive chair. And not only this acting capacity, there are many MDs acting, there are many people who are just in acting capacity. It's a high time, Mr. Speaker, the government confirmed or appointed full people so that the country may be served better. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fernandi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support the statement by the distinguished senator of Tharaka Nithi on the issue of xenophobic attacks in South Africa, Mr. Speaker. It's so sad that all as Africans, we fought the white domination then. We fought against colonialists. But it is tragic that our brothers and sisters in South Africa are forcing out their own brothers and sisters from Africa. Yet we want to promote Pan-Africanism, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if our forefathers were today to wake up and find that Africans are fighting each other, Mr. Speaker, it will be very tragic. I am aware of more than 53,000 Africans have been attacked and they have migrated, both documented and undocumented, Mr. Speaker. It's no longer about illegal migrants. The Dudula operation or citizen in South Africa is chasing each and every person that they meet, Mr. Speaker, regardless whether they are documented or undocumented migrants, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to thank the government because the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, led by permanent PCS Musalia Mudavadi, and the Diaspora Affairs have ensured that they have facilitated repatriation, Mr. Speaker, of more than 400 Kenyans back into the country. My appeal, Mr. Speaker, and 53,000 have been removed from, and I'm told, Mr. Speaker, among 20,000 internally displaced people that has been changed by these vigilantes in South Africa, among them Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal to the government that these 400 Kenyans who have come back without nothing. Mr. Speaker, I saw a story in some of the media. Somebody has built the enterprise. They have even married. They have children with South Africans, Mr. Speaker. And they have nothing. For 20 years they were in that country. I want to appeal to the government to step in and stabilize them and ensure they give them opportunity, Mr. Speaker, so that they can be able to settle and even assist them by bringing them their wives and their children, Mr. Speaker, because you can imagine you are here and your wife and children are in South Africa, Mr. Speaker. With the current cold of January here in Nairobi, things might go South Africa way, Mr. Speaker. So even as we talk, we want to appeal in conclusion, Mr. Speaker. You know, I want to talk to South Africans. It doesn't make sense that 4% of the population are immigrants. And these South Africans, Mr. Speaker, want to blame everybody and anything for what is happening in their country. Mr. Speaker, I support the statement on the issue of xenophobic attacks in South Africa.
Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on a matter that is a bit private, I would like to say that I appreciate the support my colleagues in this House, especially your office, gave me during my mother's funeral. I say a big thank you to all of you. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be very short. The issue of NTSA that has been raised by our brother Nyutu, this is a matter that affects county governments, and yet in reality we have not agreed on what we are going to do in terms of how to manage NTSA management of our affairs in terms of motor vehicles. Number two, Mr. Speaker, the committee was supposed to have had an opportunity to sit down and explain to this House whether indeed who is managing NTSA, who's managing the funds that are coming through the NTSA, including the speedo governors which have been erected and all that is going on. I believe that with the questioning of with the coming of this question, there is a likelihood that at the committee level we'll be able to interrogate and come up with solutions to the problems which are bedeviling NTSA. Mr. Speaker, the issue that many of us have discussed for a few days now is the issue of the xenophobic ranting and fights which are taking place between our people, African people. I have a slightly different feeling, Mr. Speaker, about this matter. We are here talking about how Kenyans have been chased from South Africa. We are here talking about how Africans don't love each other. We are here talking about how this should never happen in Africa. Mr. Speaker, our legal framework on migration and population migration on the African continent is wanting. The issues which have been raised, Mr. Speaker, as to why South Africans are chasing the other Africans, we are not looking at them. Is it a matter that we are mishandling? Because we think that when South Africans are talking about we don't want these people in our country, do we simplify it and look at it as either a black against black issue, or is it a South African against other African countries issue? Mr. Speaker, I think even in our country, I have listened to very many individuals in private voices and private sounds discussing about how immigrants have moved here. You will quietly listen to Kenyans discussing how the Rwandese and Burundians are now the ones who are fixing our ladies' hair. You will hear how the Rwandese and the Malawians are now and Tanzanians are now in Kenya selling used shoes, mutumba clothes and all that. I think let us begin to prepare ourselves. What is going to happen when Kenyans begin to behave like the South Africans, where Kenyans will start also attacking foreign.
1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The point I was making is, let us begin to prepare ourselves on how we are going to handle our people of the African continent in case this matter cascades to our country, because we are acting as if this cannot happen around. I've heard it being discussed on foreigners, including Rwandese, Tanzanians, Burundians, Ugandans, all over Nairobi. At one time, because of these tribal disease we have about communities in this republic, you've heard many people talk about the Somali community. And these things are not justified, Mr. Speaker. Let's be prepared so that when it happens, Kenya will be able to handle it in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance.
Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to comment on the statement made by the Senator for Machakos. Honorable Speaker, the issue of payrolls is actually becoming a big problem in this country. It's actually a syndicate that needs to be looked at. Honorable Speaker, the other day I was seeing in the TV, the Minister for Public Service, Honorable Shuku, was actually having the same issues in the national government, where there's a lot of vague payrolls, even underage people being employed. So this is actually abnormal things. And the counties, actually, every county is experiencing the same problems. And actually, the source of this problem is actually the manual payrolls. And it's a high time this House must take an action, that we must work hard to see to that these business of payrolls should be controlled and shall be automated. One other thing, Honorable Speaker, the Minister has taken this issue to the DCI to investigate, and that investigation now should extend to the county so that this business of payrolls and theft of payrolls and money, and people being employed, even underage people, and double employment should be curtailed in this country because it consumes a huge bill. And this kind of business actually will no longer be accepted in this country. Honorable Speaker, I also want to contribute the xenophobia that has taken place in South Africa. Honorable Speaker, South Africa, I think it's very unfortunate that the people that all African countries supported during the independence and stood with them as brothers are today being chased away and being killed. They've been looted, their property been looted. It's a very unacceptable action from South Africa. South Africa has experienced a lot of problems in the past when the time of the apartheid, and therefore these are the people who should have appreciated the Africans to work with them, to live with them as brothers and sisters. But of course the way of they behaved was barbaric actually, and that is not acceptable to us, to other Africans who stood with them. Other Africans have contributed their forces, they have contributed their resources, they stood with them, but today they have kicked everybody out of their land. However, it is we need to appeal against that kind of behavior from our other brothers. With those few remarks, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Osoti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also make my comments on these statements. Let me start by commenting on the statement on xenophobia in South Africa. I think what is coming out clearly, Mr. Speaker, is that these events happening in South Africa are likely to trigger disunity in Africa. But one thing that has come out very clearly is the role of African Union. We have not seen the African Union come out strongly to intervene in the matter of South Africa. And that sends shivers to many about the efficiency of African Union and why we should, as a country, continue financing African Union when it cannot address our problems. Secondly, the statement by Senator Kavindu, who is my neighbor here, on the ballooning wage bill in Machakos County. It is not just Machakos County, every other county has this problem of wage bill. And I think our various committees have tried to address this problem. And it seems that this problem is not disappearing. I think we have to look for other mechanisms of dealing with this problem of wage bill so that our counties become proper economic units and not just employment bureaus where people come, get employment, and there is no tangible development that happens in those counties. Lastly, the statement by Senator Edwin Sifuna, the leader of Linda Mwananchi, on the issue. I have to say that because I see the Senator Cherargei is looking at it.
Just stick to your thoughts, please.
On the issue of disparities in employment benefits between our local people and foreigners, especially in international media outlets. I want to say this problem is not just in the media sector, but in many other sectors. So when the committee looks at this problem, I think you need to extend to other sectors where we have our Kenyans earning very low salaries and the foreigners are earning more, sometimes even triple what Kenyans are earning. I have gone through this myself, Mr. Speaker, when I was still young. When I had just graduated from university, working as a software engineer, I used to earn money, but my contemporaries were earning 3 times me because they were white people, and yet we were delivering more than them. So this is a serious problem, and I think the Committee of Labor.
Senator Recha.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also give my comments. I would like to comment on the report read by the Machakos County Senator Kavindu on wastage and also wage bill. Mr. Speaker, my own county, when reported, and a list of counties was reported, my county led the whole of Kenya by wasting 500 million Kenya shillings. And this was just shocking for us because we are struggling in that county in many ways. And so this brought a lot of negativity when this was reported on the papers. And therefore, the concern is that such an amount of money means that those who are responsible and supposed to be accountable are not thinking of themselves as being servants of the people. Instead, they are thinking that this is their own money, and that is why they are wasting. And it is even surprising that if you check on the list of the people who benefit from these trips, for example, are either relatives or close allies of the governor or the administration of a given county. And so it is a bad misuse of public funds. And yet services such as provision of medical services in hospitals in counties are just deplorable and not there. And so when money such amount is wasted, it just sends a lot of negative attitude to the people who are supposed to be benefiting from many other services. Thank you.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to make comments on statements raised by Senator Sifuna on the youth who are looking for employment and employers are asking for clearance from CRB. Honorable Speaker, these are very young people who have just left college and they are looking for any opportunity that comes along the way. And this ask of CRP clearance is an impediment, Honorable Speaker, because maybe a young fellow has just gone to maybe seek for a small loan, maybe Fuliza here in Safaricom or Airtel or Telcom T-Cash, or even Shiloh, Honorable Speaker. I don't know how they are able to access this particular data and list young people on the CRB, Honorable Speaker, because this is against the Data Protection Act that was passed in 2019, Honorable Speaker, because they need consent. These are small loans. The youth need the employment so that they can clear the loans. This is something that we need to relook at and also look at the Banking Act and the Credit Bureau laws, Honorable Speaker, so that our youth are relieved or assisted so that they are not listed, Honorable Speaker. The last one that I had wanted to comment, Honorable Speaker, also was this one on NTSA. You know, there are many people who are importing vehicles across from Japan, from Dubai, from across Thailand, even South Africa, Honorable Speaker. And sometimes the vehicles lie in Mombasa or at Inland Container Depot for a long time at the CFSs because the number plates have not been released. So NTSA needs to improve its act and ensure when vehicles arrive, they are registered on time and number plates are given. Because without number plates, the vehicles will not be released. And if they are released, the police, the traffic police officers will have an issue, because you cannot be driving vehicles on the road without numbers. So this is something the Minister of Transport needs to work on, so that number plates are released on timely basis, Honorable Speaker. And then finally, on Senator Kavindu's statement on plotted wage bill, across all our counties, the reports that we receive in CBAC, CBIC, Honorable Speaker, is crazy. Most counties are paying as much as 50% of the budget on wages, Honorable Speaker. So it basically defeats the purpose. Why did we say that we need devolved units? It is because there are some sections of the country that perceived that if they're in the position, there will be no development, Honorable Speaker. But because...
Senator Korir. Honorable Senators, as you speak, keep an eye on your gadget, because the time as you speak is indicated how it's get depreciated, so that you can conclude your thoughts within time.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Allow me also to comment on a number of statements that has been raised by the honorable members, and starting with the statement by Senator Nyotu on the issue of the number plates. Honorable Speaker, I just want to say that there are a number of issues that he has raised, but what I want to emphasize is that the committee should be able to check on whether the people who have applied for these number plates have been given a leeway, say that if there is a delay, they should not be getting penalties from the relevant authorities that are involved in terms of making sure that they have these requisite documents, Honorable Speaker. When I come to the statement that has been raised by Senator Kavindu on the issues of the wage bill, this is something that is also affecting the entire counties, Honorable Speaker. I think one of the issues that I think it will sort out again these issues is the issues that the motion that we had in the morning on the issues of IFMIS, where the honorable senators can assess the IFMIS number of every county, so that at least at the end of the day they should be able to check on a number of development and these wage bills that are affecting a number of counties to an extent that we have a very huge bending mill, Honorable Speaker. And the issue that has also been raised by Honorable Sifuna on the issue of the CRB, I want to say that this is an issue that is affecting a number of youths, and unless they are employed, that is when they can be able to be out of that list. And I want to say that I think it is a critical statement that we need to relook at it as a government, so that at least we can be able to address this and be able to allow our youth to be able to access job opportunities, to be able to clear the said loans, Honorable Speaker. And finally, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of xenophobia from the South Africa. A peaceful country is a healthy nation, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say that one of the parliaments that I normally follow is the South African Parliament. Despite the fact that they've been having a lot of debate and a lot of challenges within the Parliament, Honorable Speaker, I would want to urge them that they speak more of peace and love and unity in that country, so that at the end of the day, we can be one as an African nation. Thank you.
Senator Mngatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to make a brief comment on the issue of xenophobia. Mr. Speaker, together with Professor Kamar, we represent this Senate as part of the delegation in the Pan-African Parliament. And in our wall, the question of xenophobic attacks has really generated debate all the way from Morocco to South Africa, West Africa to East Africa. We have been debating this matter online, and next week, Mr. Speaker, we shall be in Johannesburg, Midrand, when the Pan-African Parliament will be in session. And Mr. Speaker, my thoughts are that we must make it painful for South Africa to
to allow vigilante to mistreat other African countries. We must make it painful, Mr. Speaker. And in my thinking, the more than 400 Kenyans who have been brought back against their will, whose property was destroyed, whose livelihoods and family life was destroyed, they must come and the damages must be calculated. If this man was making this amount of money in South Africa, they must be able to tabulate those damages, Mr. Speaker. And the government of Kenya should take the responsibility to find funds to restart the lives of these people in the Republic of Kenya. But having borne the bill on behalf of the people of Kenya, they should demand that the South African government settles this matter. Mr. Speaker, reparations should not just be about slave trade, should not just be about how people suffered in war. Reparations, Mr. Speaker, should also cover a country that doesn't manage its vigilante. And Mr. Speaker, this debate and this proposal is going to be on the table, and I hope even our committee will consider it when they finally look at this matter before them. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order. Before clerk, you call the next order, allow me to make this communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence of visiting delegation of 4 teachers and 109 students from Kenyan Secondary School in Makueni County, who are seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate, on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I will call upon the Senator from Makueni to extend a word of welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to welcome this school. This is the 3rd school to visit Parliament today, and just like the other schools, Ukia and Kitondo, I want to welcome Changondu Secondary School and urge the 101 students and their teachers to take opportunity to learn as much as possible from their visit, and want to encourage the students that in the final examination there is usually quite a number of questions on Parliament, the role of Parliament, what Parliament does, and I'm sure with the learning they're going through and what they've been briefed by the clerk system, and what I did this morning to the schools which I met at the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, I want to welcome them and urge them to pick something and wish them well in their exams and success in life, and that one day they should feel encouraged also to be elected and to serve the people of Kenya. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order. Okay. Senator Abbas, you have some papers to lay on the table. Kindly proceed before we proceed with the next order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate. Today, Wednesday, 15 July 2026. 1. Report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on the Cooperation Agreement between the National Government and Nairobi City Council, City Government. 2. Report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on the application for conferment of city status to Thika Municipality. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order number 8, the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Bill, National Assembly Bills number 41 of 2025. First reading. A bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Article 43(1)(a) of the Constitution to provide for the responsibility of the national and county governments in the realization of quality healthcare for patients, to provide for the establishment, powers and functions of the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Authority, registration, licensing, and accreditation of health facilities, to provide for the setting of standards for quality healthcare and for connected purposes.
You've done all the three? You've done all the two? Okay, next order.
Order number 9, the Kenya National Library Service Bill, National Assembly Bills number 20 of 2023. First reading. A bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Article 11(2)(a) of the Constitution, to establish the Kenya National Library Service, to provide for the management of the Kenya National Library Service, and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Consideration of a report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of a petition to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omusundi regarding the enactment of a legal framework to provide for recall of the President or a governor through a citizen initiative.
Senator Manzu, as the mover, you have 12 minutes to conclude your reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today you had another petition by Omusudi, and you can see he's very concerned with the public issues. In this petition, he had been concerned that we should make a law as a House that we allow or pass a law that citizens can recall the President or recall a governor where the House has not been able to do so, although the House is allowed to impeach a president and the House, the County Assembly is allowed to impeach a governor. The reason he gave was that the National Assembly member and a County Assembly member is recallable by the public. And at the same time, Mr. Speaker, is now seeking through this petition that we make a law that the people are allowed to recall the president or or in the case of a governor, the residents of that county can recall their governor. Mr. Speaker, we went through this petition. We consulted the Attorney General. There was an input from the Attorney General. There are case laws which has discussed this issue and found that it cannot be performed the way the petitioner, Mr. Omusundi, wants it done. And Mr. Speaker, we also consulted the Law Reform Commission. We also consulted CAF, the County Assembly's Forum, and any other Kenyan who was interested in this matter. We did our level best, Mr. Speaker, to bring a report to this House, and we found out the way it had been framed and the way it has been requested, unless there's a referendum, Mr. Speaker, we are not able to pass a law like that, because it's a way of amending the Constitution through the back door. And the Constitution itself provides methods on which it can be amended and on what issues it can be amended. And therefore, on this particular one, his petition was rejected by the committee, and that's why we have reported to the Senate, and that in the event he still wants to pursue the same, Mr. Speaker, sir, the way we want to pursue the same, it cannot be done in that particular manner, but it can go to referendum. And therefore, it should introduce a popular initiative to be able to achieve this particular way and method of making an effort, Mr. Speaker, to have this sort of request made. And therefore, the House, in the Constitution, and in accordance with the court judgments which have been delivered and opinions, this House cannot be able to initiate a law of that nature. It will be unconstitutional to a large extent, and therefore, that opportunity is not completely blocked out. But, Mr. Speaker, we found out that he reasoned that there are frustrations which made him come to that conclusion, that he had a feeling, and together with many Kenyans, that when members of the House were not dealing with that matter of accountability in terms of the presidency and in terms of the governors, the way they felt, Mr. Speaker, we should do. He felt that there was a frustration growing in the country, and he felt that that's the thinking, that there must be two ways, that either you impeach through the House or people have a direct way of impeachment, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this particular issue, Mr. Speaker, could not be handled the way it had been requested. Every Kenyan, Mr. Speaker, as you've put it today, is allowed by law to come before the House, present any issue, petition in any matter, even under Article 7 of the Constitution. And this House helps in resolve that matter. Mr. Speaker, that is exactly what we have done. And we are encouraging Mr. Msudi and any other Kenyan who has these ideas and who have that feeling that the House, there are two houses could not be doing enough, that still they have an opportunity to bring amendments to the Constitution through a referendum, and the same could be agreed. But as the way the Constitution is framed currently, Mr. Speaker, this could not happen. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful and I thank you for giving the opportunity. I reply. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I do request that the putting of the question in this matter be put on a later date.
Indeed, the putting of this question is deferred to a later date. Now, honorable senators, allow me, pursuant to Standing Order 45-2, to rearrange today's order paper, and we move to order number 23. Clerk, you may proceed to call that order.
Order number 23, the Kenya Roads Amendment number 3 Bill, National Assembly Bills number 34 of 2025. Second reading, resumption of debate.
Now, honorable senators, the floor is open to debate. Now, honorable senators will defer that order and move to Senator Sifuna. You know you cannot raise on a point of order unless you're seeking a different thing altogether. What's your intervention?
Chair, I was prepared to contribute to order number 23. Perhaps there is a special reason why we can't proceed with it.
Yeah,
should I approach the chair?
Yeah, you may approach the chair. Honorable Senators, I'll proceed to propose the question that is on order number 23, which is that the Kenya Roads Amendment number 3 bill, Senate Assembly Bills number 34, 2025, be now read a second time. So the floor is now open to debate. The Honorable Sifuna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this bill. First, I don't know if other members have noticed, but the version of the bill that is on our gadgets, Honorable Speaker, misses a critical part, which I always start with when debating any bills in this House, which is the memorandum of objects and reasons. I don't see it in the version that is, on our gadgets there. It always points to the import of the legislation, why it is necessary for us to bring these amendments to the Roads Act. Mr. Speaker, this is an area that has had a lot of debate. Because, Honorable Speaker, you know that if you go to the 4th schedule of the Constitution makes reference to only 2 types of roads. That is the national trunk roads under the 4th schedule and county roads. There are no other roads, Honorable Speaker. And we have really suffered here in Nairobi because sometimes, Honorable Speaker, we don't know which agency is responsible for which road. Yesterday, I told you I was in Lavington area. I was telling this story in the morning. I visited Ndoto Road in Lavington. It is in bad shape. And the residents there also tell us that there is proper confusion as to who is responsible for that particular road. Then, Honorable Speaker, I have complaints also from residents of Karen. Some roads there, when you ask who's responsible for the upkeep of that road, Kera tell you, or the national government says it's supposed to be county government say that is a national road. So there are positives that I can see in this particular bill, but I want to start with the problems, Honorable Speaker. Because you can see that as from the 4th schedule, as I've said, there are only 2 levels of roads. And my expectation with this bill was that it was going to bring more clarity. But I can assure you, I am more confused as to the types and levels of roads now after reading this bill than I was before. Because, Honorable Speaker, I think they have created a vast number of new roads and stuck most of them under the national government. If you go to the bill itself, it has a schedule there, the first schedule. And you will see they have created something they are calling national roads. Then they have created urban roads. Then there's A3 rural roads. Then there's something they are calling security roads. Then there's something they are calling last mile city roads. And Speaker, if you read the descriptions there, I am sure I'm not the only one in this House. I think you have to be an engineer to actually understand the language that is employed in the first schedule to know which road is which one. So, Speaker, when you go to that first schedule, you have all this new terminology that is being used. And when you read the description, for instance, Speaker, if I can just pick one, there is something called rural roads, secondary, national trunk roads. Then it says roads linking major designated towns and forming a continuous network with Class A and Class B roads. Special purpose roads, roads providing direct access to places of specific national, social, or economic importance, including industrial and commercial areas and government institutions such as schools, hospitals, prisons, government housing. Security roads, roads strategic to national security as identified by the ministry responsible for internal security and communicated to the minister from time to time. Now, if you just consider the architecture of our country, even just this city, you will find that most of these institutions that are being referenced here will fall along the same road, So the confusion here, Honorable Speaker, is going to be quite palpable. Part B of that classification is what they are calling county roads. So the county roads are Class D, E, and I think DU and EU. Yeah? So, Speaker, in my view, they have actually made it worse in terms of our understanding of which road is a national trunk road and which one is a county road. I don't think that the descriptions that are being used here are actually constitutional in my view, because the Constitution has already specified that the national government is only responsible for national trunk roads. And everybody knows what a national trunk road is. A national trunk road is the level of, for instance, the A104, the famous A104 that links Nairobi to the western part. And I think the one from Nairobi to Mombasa, that's a national trunk road. We don't expect that counties will do such work. But if you see that description that is there in the schedule, Honorable Speaker, I think we are going to have challenges going forward. Now, other than that, Honorable Speaker, I can see that there is a provision that has been woven in there that requires that the national, what is it called, the Kenya Roads Board can only send funds to counties for roads once the counties open a special purpose account with the CBK. We will have issues here as the Senate because we don't want our counties to be micromanaged. Allow counties to be able to manage functions that have been given to them without the micromanagement from the national government. Now, a few positives, Honorable Speaker. Under Clause 47(3)(b), you will see that they are providing for something that we as a country have struggled with for a very long time, that all parts of the country must have reasonable access to a national trunk road or a county road. This is the equity that we've been looking for, especially under the Equalization Fund, that there are counties that are so far away from national trunk roads that it is impossible to access some of those counties. We want development to be equitable in this country because every one of us pays taxes and we deserve those roads in our areas. Under 47A, they have provided for the functions of the county governments, where it says each county shall maintain, rehabilitate, develop, and develop county roads. The only problem I have is my earlier submission, Honorable Speaker, that they have actually narrowed the definition of the roads that should fall under county governments, and I believe it is an affront on devolution that we should resist. Then the management of road reserves and access to roadside development. Speaker, I have a background in outdoor advertising. My first meaningful job was as a legal affairs manager of a company that does billboards. And Honorable Speaker, I get into a lot of problems with those people who shout, "Kazi ni kazi," because my experience is that kazi si kazi. There is kazi that can actually change your life, transform your entire village. And that is the first job that I'm referring to that was meaningful. Honorable Speaker, we used to have a lot of fights with the Kenya Urban Roads Authority and even Kura, not Kura, Kera and the others, and Kenha, because we were of the view that advertising and control of advertising, under the fourth schedule of the Constitution, again, Honorable Speaker, is a county function. And our argument was that national government institutions should have no role to play in licensing of roadside or road reserve developments, what they call road furniture. But to our dismay, those national government entities were very rabid in terms of saying, no, the road reserves belong to us. So I am happy, although they have reduced the definition, again, of the roads that fall under counties, that it is clear that management of road reserves, access, and to roadside developments under 47A has been made clear that it is a functional responsibility of the county governments. And then under 47AC, management of traffic. Management of traffic on county roads has been specifically isolated as a county function, Honorable Speaker, so that we have we should have the capacity as the Nairobi County government, for instance, to manage traffic on our roads without interference from the national police. Honorable Speaker, under 47B, it is something that also I support on signage on our roads, that every road should have signage showing the classification of the road and which government level is responsible for its maintenance, rehabilitation, and development. This will solve that problem that I referenced, Honorable Speaker, that there are roads like Ndoto Road in Lavington, where there is a tag as to who is responsible for maintenance and rehabilitation of that road. It's in the speakable state. And then my favorite, Honorable Speaker, under 47B, which I'm sure some of my friends in the county assemblies will not like, and the governors, that no person will be allowed to put signage on our roads with their name or image. Because you have seen, and I'm sure members who drive around Nairobi and even in the other counties, you will see that every road, whenever there is maintenance of the road or it's being upgraded, you will see the face of the governor there, and then the face of the MCA there, saying they are the ones responsible for the good state of the road. We have, yes, now this is a specific amendment that is in the roads amendment bill. Speaker, we have had this conversation many, many times. We want Kenyans to understand that we as taxpayers deserve these things. They are not favors. They are not favors, and any person can build a road. I hear people pontificating, saying, oh, I am the one who's building the road from here to there, so you should elect me or re-elect me or give me a second term. We are saying any person with authority or in authority and collecting our taxes has the ability to build roads. A dictator will build roads. A democrat will build roads. If you go to some of these countries that have dictatorships, they have built fantastic roads, Honorable Speaker. So that is not an argument for re-election. Any person can build you a stadium. It is not a favor. Moi built us 2 fantastic stadia that we use up to today. For the All Africa Games, we go to Kasarani. We have Nyayo Stadium there. But if you ask any person in this country whether we want to go back to the life that we used to live under Moi, where people were not free to debate issues the way we debate today, where we did not have freedom of expression, where you could be arrested and jailed without trial, Kenyans will tell you we don't want that. So that Talanta Stadium, which we are insisting on calling Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium on Ngong Road, is not the reason why you tell us you want a second term. We want to deal with the software of this country. Any person can build a road. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm very happy with this particular provision on removal of images of leaders claiming that this is my work. In fact, I have made the point in this House that my favorite road sign is those ones that Kenha used to put. They were green. I don't see them anymore. That said, your money, the road maintenance levy funds have been used to improve the situation of this road or the state of this road. Those are the only signages we want to see. We want to see a sign on Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium on Ngong Road that it is your money, not William Ruto, that has built this stadium. It is our money. And nobody should try and tell us any other stories there. So, Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I forgot the final bit there, is that the law has provided for a fine for anybody who violates that provision on images. So if you put your face on that stadium and you say you are the one who has built it, we jail you for 2 years. Eh? Speaker, I'm being heckled, and I don't know if it's a point of order. We are saying the provision in the bill is that if you violate this particular law that says you cannot put your face on the road to say that this is the person who has built this road, we will jail you for 2 years or a fine of 1 million. The face of Raila Odinga, of course, is allowed on a stadium that is named after him. He's not saying that he's the one who built it. So, Speaker, with those many remarks, I would support the bill, but when we come to the Committee of the Whole, we will be proposing that we remain true to the spirit of the Constitution by deleting these provisions that reference roads that our Constitution does not recognize, these security roads, last mile city roads. There is nothing like that. We want a bill that reflects the true constitutional position, that there are only 2 classes of roads, national trunk roads and county roads. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Sifuna. I would have expected in the course of your contribution that in your other life, when you were dealing with advertisement on roads and challenges that you experienced, that you had quite a number of inroads with yours truly in representing your client in the courts. And you are happy with the classification now. That would take away definitely that part of the challenge. But indeed, as you've said, it is a timely bill or rather amendment that comes to the bill. So thank you. Before I allow the next senator to contribute, I have communication further to make. This is with regards to visiting delegation of teachers and students from Kambui Girls School in Kiambu County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence of a visiting delegation of 8 teachers and 182 students from Kambui in Kiambu County who were seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. And now that we don't have the Senator for Kiambu in the House, I will ask Senator Cherargei, as you contribute to this bill. Welcome.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this
Proceed,
opportunity.
Senator Cherargei. And it's good, you should remind Senator Sifuna that in Nandi County, you've got a city as well. So you are not entirely a rural senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for putting matters on record. Senator Sifuna, in as much as he refers us to rural senators, Mr. Speaker, he should know that we have Eldoret City County, or city, next to my neighboring county of Nandi, Mr. Speaker. So all of us belong to the rural, because I've seen even him, he wants to go and launch his political career in Bungoma. Mr. Speaker, I want to extend a warm welcome from the lovely students from Kiambu. On behalf of your Senator Karungo Wadhangwa, feel most welcome. We hope you learn as much as possible. The distinguished Senator of Nandi County, Cherargei Kiprotich, I'm a ranking member of this House, and feel most welcome on behalf of the Speaker and this House. I know your Senator is busy with other duties, but we hope somewhere in Olkalao, he's an agent of Olkalao polling by-election, but we hope I will talk to him to M-Pesa me so that I can be able to sort you out. But since his friend Senator Sifuna will be there, I'll just send Senator Sifuna to meet you outside and ensure you have something as you go back home. And he might whisper 1 or 2 things because he was in Thika the other day. Mr. Speaker, as I contribute to this bill, Mr. Speaker, from where I come from, the issue of roads, and I'm happy our students who are here also need roads to go to school. It is very important that you know that this House provides for legislation, oversight, representation, budget-making process, Mr. Speaker. So we are discussing the bill on Kenya Roads Bill 2025. I know in Kiambu, where you come from, you also have a bit of challenges with roads, and the government is doing a lot. I know Kiambu County, being a metropolis of Nairobi City County, Mr. Speaker, these young students were aware that they need roads for easy service, and I know in most of their subjects learn the importance of having roads, Mr. Speaker. And our road, Mr. Speaker, if you read from third to first world, Mr. Speaker, by some of the Asian tigers, one of the transformation, and which the President is doing at the moment, Mr. Speaker, is transforming this country on the road to Singapore, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me start from, for us, you know, the people of Kiambu, and the students are here from Kiambu, at least they were lucky they got Thika Superhighway, and they now have Mau Mau roads, which makes them easy, and we are going to do an expressway from Thika to ease the condition that we see in Thika City or Thika Town into the city. Mr. Speaker, we are very grateful to the President, Mr. Speaker, and the children, our lovely sons and daughters up there, should be aware, some of us who come from the so-called rural counties, when we are going to Christmas, sometimes we have to sleep on the roads. Because Nairobi, Nakuru, Bungoma, Nairobi, Kericho, Kisumu, Busia, the road was, there could be a gridlock. We could not go home to celebrate Christmas with our families, to take gifts, Mr. Speaker, to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, Mr. Speaker, for some of us. But we want to thank the President, because as we talk today, there was somebody, Mr. Speaker, said there was no wheelbarrow, even in uplands. But, Mr. Speaker, if today you drive from Rironi, Mau Summit, the machines, the works that are ongoing, Mr. Speaker, to expand to 6 lane can only be imagined to the road to Singapore, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this is a good bill that we need to know that the national highway trunks, and I agree with my brother from Nairobi, that this, the major road highways that are cutting across the country, like the upcoming Mau Summit, Rironi, then from Mau Summit all the way to Malaba, Bungoma, and also all the way, Mr. Speaker. And these are infrastructural development. Mr. Speaker, you are even aware that the second phase of SGR has been launched, and it will pass Bomet, it will pass Kericho, it will pass all the way next to the border of Nandi and Kisumu, Mr. Speaker. These are some of the things that will allow the motorability of areas that will come, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank one of your, is it your voters or your distinguished, the man called Davis Chirchir, who works in silence, Mr. Speaker. Since Davis Chirchir has come to the roads ministry, most of the stalled roads that were there have now reopened, Mr. Speaker. And we thank him for working in silence, Mr. Speaker. Even in my own county, now I have almost 2 roads complete. The one from Celia, Kaiboy, then the almost complete is from Kaiboy, Chepterwai, Mr. Speaker, all the way to Kapkatembo, Mr. Speaker. There is one from Timborua, and I saw the distinguished senator from Wazingishu, Senator Margaret Kamar, the one that is going all the way to Potopoto. It will go all the way to Kopere, Mr. Speaker. It will all go all the way to Mamboleo in Kisumu. That road is almost complete, Mr. Speaker. Courtesy of, Mr. Speaker, although in a number of Nandi County, there is the one of Kitechka, Mr. Speaker, that is being done in Nandils, and that will end up in Ainamgetuny, and that one that will come from Kericho, Digir, all the way through to Kericho, it comes to Kebeneti, it will come all the way to Nandi and onwards to West Pokot, Mr. Speaker. And the contractors are on site, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, even the one, you was even in Bomet town, Mr. Speaker, roads have been upgraded, even the one that goes to the airstrip. And I want to thank you, yourself and Senator Commissioner Joyce Korir and other leaders of Bomet for engaging with the President so that with this, even the one, Chebale Siongro Jebunya Road was impassable, Mr. Speaker. But the ongoing works of refilling the pothole, setting up the ground for the contractor to come and finish this road of Chebale Siongro Jebunya Road, which had become an eyesore, Mr. Speaker, and I know you come from that sub-county, Mr. Speaker. So we want to say these roads, and even if you go to Nyamira, there are roads ongoing. Even Nairobi, I would have expected the Senator of Nairobi to begin by thanking the President, Mr. Speaker. Because now we have eased the traffic. Can I finish the traffic? The one at Nakuma Junction, Mr. Speaker. The President commissioned the other day, Mr. Speaker, that has eased the traffic between Naivasha Road and Gong Road, Mr. Speaker. If the President has put 80 billion, we are now seeing opening of the drainages.
Senator Chiralge, would you like to be informed by Senator Mogeni?
No. I am sufficiently well informed, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Your offer, Senator Mogeni, is declined.
Mr.
Proceed.
Speaker, if you drive around Nairobi, Eastlands, Karen, and all the parts, even in the CBD, Mr. Speaker, you have to appreciate that courtesy the partnership between the national government and the county government, Mr. Speaker, they have open drainage. And if El Nino comes towards the end, this city will be open, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, we want to ask the governor of Nairobi. In fact, the President assisted him by opening drainages and roads. We have seen even here in Serena, Mr. Speaker, the roads is ongoing. Serena, even Valley Road here, Mr. Speaker, near. There are many roads ongoing in the city. But the city, the rubbish and the takataka, in fact, I'm shocked. The governor of Nairobi, the President has done majority of the work. But the governor of Nairobi, Sakaja, cannot even collect litter. When you go to Waiyaki Way, there is a lot of cabbage in this county, Mr. Speaker. Yet the President has done majority of the work. So I want to appeal, Mr. Speaker, because as senators, we oversight all the counties. We must ensure that we give value for this that we are having, Mr. Speaker. Even on the issue of security roads, I had somebody asking, you know, for bandit-prone areas like Elgeyo Marakwet County, like Marsabit, Mr. Speaker, like what we are seeing in Meru and Isiolo, we must designate, and even as sometimes I see between Nyamira and also Transmara, Mr. Speaker, that area around Migori, we normally have challenges of insecurity. And it is very important that we have security roads. You saw what happened in Angata Baragoi the other day, Mr. Speaker. We want to appeal for calm and the issue of land historical injustices in Angata Baragoi must be addressed, Mr. Speaker. So this issue of security roads it is very important so that we give priority. But Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the agencies that they should not misuse security roads. Mr. Speaker, I remember in the last session, there was an argument where the Kura argued that the roads they were doing in Kibera were security roads. So we were wondering what is insecure in Kibera. We want to have a tangible report before a road is named security road. We must be told based on which reason, Mr. Speaker, so that we can agree. But Mr. Speaker, there's so much, even in Kisii, Nyamira, where our commissioner comes from, Mr. Speaker, there is a road from all the way from Wajir, Mr. Speaker, Mogadashe, Kulamawe, all the way to Isiolo. They have never, Mr. Speaker, in fact, the people of northern Kenya have never got an opportunity to see a tarmac road, Mr. Speaker. For the first time since independence 60 years, President William Ruto is fixing it, Mr. Speaker. In fact, Mr. Speaker, we are asking ourselves, what was Uhuru Kenyatta doing with our money, or other presidents, Mr. Speaker? Because 4 years, Mr. Speaker, 4 years, Mr. Speaker, 4 years down the line, what President William Ruto is doing is more what Kibaki did combined for 10 years, Mr. Speaker. The people, in fact, the reason, Mr. Speaker, the reason...
Order, let Senator Cherargei be heard in silence. Senator Joyce, Senator, you have a point of order? Very well. What's your point of order, Senator Mogeni? Senator Onyonga, I heard you. I heard you.
Yeah, Speaker, sir. You know, Senator of Nandi, my good friend, Senator Cherargei, is doing his second term, and he knows what our standing orders say on matters of facts. He has just made a statement saying that the network of roads that have been constructed by the government, I want to correct you, it is the government that is doing roads, not an individual. The roads that have been constructed under the regime of President Ruto exceed the number of roads that were constructed by former President Kibaki and former President Kenyatta combined. Can you table statistics?
It's a fact.
No. That's why I'm adding. Let's go slowly. Okay. Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Record.
Yes.
Can you give us the statistics that will demonstrate that what is stating on the floor of this House is factual? I can give you facts from Nyamira. The road that was constructed from Metamayua, Mosobeti, Kebirigo, was done during the regime of President Kibaki. The one that was done from Ikonge through Connected Junction.
Senator Mogeni, you have
no, I'm just trying to.
Point of order.
I'm trying to.
I want to direct Senator Cherargei to give us the facts.
So the point,
Senator Joyce.
The point I'm making.
Can you freeze my time, Kavata?
The point I'm making, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that when we are debating,
yes,
because this is a House of Record,
yes,
let us have our facts correct, so that we don't make statements on the floor of this House that are misleading, that are not factual, that cannot be substantiated. And I was just mentioning those roads to tell you that even if you sample County of Nyamira and County of Kisii, you will find that what Senator Cherargei is stating on the floor of this House is misleading, Mr. Speaker.
You've made your point, Senator Samson Cherargei. As you make your contribution on this particular bill, establish the factual position of the statements you are making, including the ones with which Senator Okongo Mogeni has raised as regards the extent of the road network that previous regimes have done in comparison with the current regime that you are stating. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, you know there was a former deputy speaker who happens to come from Nandi called Jean Maria Serone. And the late Martin Shukuku, somebody wanted to ask to substantiate, but you remember Martin Shukuku asked, how can you substantiate the obvious? And the speaker then, Jean Maria Serone, indicated you don't need to substantiate the obvious. It is even in the public domain, but if Senator Okongo Mugeni wants, I can I can table the facts tomorrow, Mr. Speaker, so that he can be updated. I know he has been traveling a lot and maybe he has lost track of what is happening, or he has been in, or he has been in these rallies, like my brother, Senator Onyonga, you saw how he escaped in Olkalau. Mr. Speaker, the point I'm trying to make, Mr. Speaker, that is why we are saying President William Ruto has done so much in 3-4 years, more than the combined other presidents that have ruled this country. And that is why we're asking the question, what were our presidents doing with our money? At least people want even to compare what President Kibaki did for 10 years vis-a-vis what William Ruto has done for 3 years, Mr. Speaker. So we must be proud that one of the ways to Singapore, we must fix infrastructure, Mr. Speaker. Even there are challenges. I know a road like this one, Ngong, is it Ngong Suswa? The contractor there must be called to order. That contractor must be blacklisted because he did a short work, Mr. Speaker. Even another road that starts from Dries Junction, Ainapkoi, all the way to Naiberi, Mr. Speaker, short work was done. And I think across other counties, we must blacklist contractors who want to destroy the reputation of government, Mr. Speaker. And I want to appeal to senators. Some of the senators, Mr. Speaker, who are busy with other rallies during weekend, and you should get time to visit some of these projects. For example, in my county, Mr. Speaker, I was in Sironoi Bridge on Chemuswa Danger. I could also assess, Mr. Speaker. You must visit roads. I want to appeal colleagues. Part of the oversight is to look at some of these roads that the government is doing, Mr. Speaker. Even I want to appeal to people like Senator Onyonga, Senator Okongo Mgeni. When you are driving to Kisii, Nyamira, just stop at Mau Summit, Rironi, there, Uplands. Look at Gilgil. Look at those projects, Mr. Speaker, so that you know, you see, Mr. Speaker. You need to see. We want you to see what the president is doing, Mr. Speaker. Even in Bugoma, there is Brigadier Road. Many roads we are doing, Mr. Speaker. There are a number of roads that the president is doing across the country. And I want to demystify. I know my brother said it is not an individual that is doing the roads. Mr. Speaker, President William Ruto is the president, and president is Ruto. So the government is Ruto. So that is why we call President Ruto administration. You know, Mr. Speaker, and therefore, I want to appeal, Mr. Speaker, number 4, and the final one, Mr. Speaker, is on the issue of roads in our counties. I want to appeal to governors. And Mr. Speaker, if today I was to go to Nyamira, most of the feeder roads done by the county government in Nyamira are in poor condition and pathetic. I want to appeal to Senator Okongo Mgeni. As he does the oversight of the national government roads, he should create time and visit some of those feeder roads in Nyamira and call Governor Nyaribo to order to ensure those roads are fixed. Even Senator Mungatana, Mr. Speaker, even Senator Tobiko, Senator Onyonga, Mr. Speaker, Senator, you and Senator Joyce must go on the ground and see some of those feeder roads. Even in Nandi County, Mr. Speaker, the roads, the feeder roads are so pathetic, Mr. Speaker, that sometimes you wonder what is the counties, Mr. Speaker, because if the president is doing tarmac, why don't the governors fix those small roads? Mr. Speaker, I was in a place called Mogoyuet, in Lelmokwa, Mogoyuet, all the way to Chepkoya. The road belongs to the county. They have never fixed. The road to my home in Mosoriat, the feeder road that the county has not fixed. You go to Aldai, you go to anywhere in Nandi, Aldai, whether Nandi Hills, whether Tindred, the people of Nandi understand this. Even the one I was using the other day in Kaptien, Mr. Speaker, around Duposat area in Nandi Hills sub-county, those roads must be fixed by the county government. And one, for example, Mr. Speaker, in my county, the governor has fixed almost 700 million for roads. But you don't see the value of that 700 million for roads, Mr. Speaker. You see counties allocating hiring of machines, yet they have bought machines, Mr. Speaker. You see roads are being graded without maraming and culverting, Mr. Speaker. Where I come from and the region you come from, Mr. Speaker, and I think all of us where these regions we come from, you must at least maram the road, grade the road, and put the culverts, Mr. Speaker. But our counties are eating maram and culverts, even in Kisii, Mr. Speaker. We must be told, when you do grading a road, can you do a grade and then put a maram, then put culvert, Mr. Speaker? Even Kisii, where my brother comes from, they have cess from T. Even me, I have cess. In Bomet, you have cess. But we don't see the same money that farmers sacrifice for the betterments of those roads, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal, as my brothers are passionate about oversighting President William Ruto. You must do 1,000% oversight against your governors. And I sit in Public Accounts Committee. I say this with authority. And Senator Onyonga used to serve with us. Now Senator Commissioner Nyamira Okongo Mugeni Senior Counsel is serving with us. We must, the biggest danger, what governors are doing ruining this country. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I was reading a book by Abdighani Hassan, The Betrayal in the North, Mr. Speaker, talking about sessional paper number 10, talking about the Wagala massacre, Mr. Speaker. He was even talking about roads in northern Kenya, especially in Wajir, Mr. Speaker. And if you read that book by Abdighani Hassan, Mr. Speaker, Betrayal in the North, he says, we thought the enmity was in session number 10. We thought the Wagala massacre was an enmity. But they are saying the current crop of governors in northern Kenya are now the modern day colonizers, that they are killing their roads, their education, their health, Mr. Speaker. And the funny thing, the other notes, is that most of them worship with them in the mosque, Mr. Speaker. And yet they come and colonize them and ensure the money allocated, which is more than 4 trillion that counties have gotten for the last 15 years, does not accounted in the north, Mr. Speaker. Even in the north, when it rains, especially in northern Kenya, most of these roads are swept by rains, which is the floods, Mr. Speaker, because the issue is that the works are not done properly, Mr. Speaker. So I want to advise, Mr. Speaker, and I know you are a man who is well read, I will ensure I give you a copy called Betrayal in the North by Abdighani Hassan, Mr. Speaker, one of the, so that you understand what this nation is going through. Colleagues and brothers and sisters in the Senate, the senators' colleagues, we must be aware, we must be cognizant, Mr. Speaker, and show that this country we can move forward, Mr. Speaker, so that we don't want to be like South Africans. We have raided xenophobic attacks. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, during the World Cup, all African countries wanted South Africa to be defeated in World Cup, because we want to bring Pan-Africanism. The only way to grow Pan-Africanism, and as I celebrate Raila Odinga, was to create an infrastructural network across.
Cherargei, your time is up. Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have extremely wonderful accolades for my brother Cherargei. Only that his comments in this House have what I call selective responsibility. Mr. Cherargei comfortably criticizes President Uhuru Kenyatta as not having done much, and yet, Mr. Speaker, President Uhuru Kenyatta President William Ruto was President Uhuru Kenyatta Vice President for 10 years. You are the same people who are enjoying the roads being given to your areas where the opposition must never get services because we are behaving badly. But Mr. Speaker, let me get back to the matter on this roads bill. The truth is, if Kenyan leadership would be honest, this is an issue that should never raise controversy. The reason for that is that all of us wish and hope that all our regions should receive development equitably and equally. Historical injustices which have happened have made some of us take positions which are very uncomfortable, Mr. Speaker, on some of these matters. Why? Because we are always selective. We are always selective. So long as our area has got leadership, particularly the presidency, and the presidency does all the roads it wants to do in our area, it is actually okay for those other areas in Kenya not to get their roads. And Mr. Speaker, this is the greatest controversy about us as a people, that when we are fighting to share the national resources and the national cake, what we do, Mr. Speaker, we internalize that. We actually go tribal, we go communal, we even go up to the ward level. But when you are talking about national equity, nobody wants to talk about that. And yet, it is because of these inequitable levels of development and growth that have taken place in our country for the last 60 years. And that is why you have, whether it is the county, the sub-county, whether it is our own nation state, that is why our brothers in the north have never felt that they were Kenyan. And yet we act as if this is a matter that cannot be discussed. And yet, in reality, when you are trying to solve the problem of this iniquity so that you can then give our brothers in the north resources for them to catch up with the rest of Kenya, what do you find? That our leadership from those areas is as insensitive as the national leadership is. That Kenyans have a common trait, that for us, when the winner takes it, the winner should always take it all. Mr. Speaker, the reality is all these roads have been the problem. And the truth in this house, we don't talk about it, Mr. Speaker. Why are we always fighting about the roads? That is where there are low-lying fruits. That's where the corruption is beautiful. That is where we share the corruption equitably. That is where those in power and those who are managing our resources sit down and agree which company will be given the roads. Until the other day, Mr. Speaker, you saw where a kilometer of road in Kenya is costing 1 billion shillings to do. And that is normal. And when we are talking about, like the other day I was driving on this road now being done, and I congratulate my brother Cherargei. Please, when you mention to the president, tell him we appreciate the little he's done, we appreciate. But when you talk about that he has done more roads than anybody else, you are lying in this house. That's why I want you to come and substantiate. That is why I would want you, Mr. Speaker, to allow Mr. Cherargei to come and give me how many roads have been done. Mr. Speaker, I apologize by not saying the truth. You didn't lie. You didn't say the truth. Mislead the house. Thank you, my brother. I would like to say, Mr. Speaker, that I would like Honorable Cherargei to come here tomorrow and look. Don't talk about the 47 counties. I want him to do only 4 counties. Kisii, he can do Kericho, Nandi, he does Makueni, and he does, which one can we pick? Any. And you will realize that the trend is literally the same. That in Kisii County, when Chris Obure was the Minister for Finance, it is true, he did more tarmac roads in Bobasi than any other Kisii area. It is true that when the Director of Roads in Kenya was from Kisii and he came from Bonchari, Bonchari got more tarmac roads than anywhere else in Kisii. And yet in Kitutu Chache, where I come from, when those 2 men and gentlemen were working in government, I didn't receive a single kilometer, and I was an MP. And I fought every day. So I'm trying to persuade my brother, Mr. Speaker Cherargei, that sometimes you need to look at the other side what we say. You need to understand why we keep on making the noise. It's not that we don't like the president. No, we respect him. We respect the office. But what we are saying, if you are giving one constituency in Kisii 200 kilometers of tarmac road, and there are 9 constituencies, which equity have you given? And yet you are using Kisii as the GPS point. That iniquity, that unfairness, that aspect of our underdevelopment is what we must deal with. This bill that is being discussed.
Senator Cherargei and Senator Joyce Korir, you know how to catch the speakers. I don't make noise. If you want to intervene, do what is appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for protecting me. I swear I think I'm making a lot of sense. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable, my colleague Cherargei, I would like to persuade you lastly. We want this country to develop equitably, fairly, and responsibly. We want this country, yes, when you are going to bring the sovereign fund, which is going to do for infrastructure, we don't want you to tell us that the controller budget cannot remit payments to whoever that has won the contract. We are not saying we don't want development. We are saying do it responsibly, do it within the law, so that you eliminate any accusation of corruption. Because the problem our country is having is not that we are not spending money for development. No, we are doing it, but at 10 times the price. And that is the cost of production in terms of corruption. So we are saying, please tell the president. Now, you see he has done this wonderful thing you've said. Can he now bring down the cost of constructing a road? And he does a road for 1 billion shillings at 20 million. We see how much it costs. So I would like to say, Mr. Speaker, that this bill is a good bill, and this bill will go a long way to solve the issues which affect the national government and the county governments. And we've been asking and begging, and I hope that this House will deliberate and come to conclusions which are reasonable and fair, so that Kenyans can have fair and equitable development and growth, so that all of us can be happy, so that we make Cherargei happy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker,
Senator
for
Onyonka,
giving me so many.
Your seat, Senator Onyonka, just to remind you that whenever you're making contributions or address the chair, don't address the individual senators. And similarly, Senator Cherargei, I believe your gadget is working. If you want to intervene, that gadget allows you how to intervene. Now you've done it. So next time, when you want to intervene, do what you've just done. Senator Mungatana.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to make a few comments about this bill. Mr. Speaker, there are some very good aspects of this bill, but there are some aspects of this bill that we need to reject as a Senate so that we can go to mediation, so that some things can be explained better. Mr. Speaker, previous speakers have pointed to the fact that the Constitution only recognizes national roads and county roads. But aside from that, Mr. Speaker, and I hope we will reject some of these clauses or move amendments so that it can go to mediation, I am worried specifically about Clause 6. Clause 6, subclause Roman 8 says 5% of the allocated funds is allocated to county governments under Article 202, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, they are trying to say that all the monies that have been allocated, the county governments will only get 5% of the allocated funds for county roads. Mr. Speaker, this is taking us backwards, not forwards. If you look, Mr. Speaker, there are so many categories of roads. You will find in some places 22% like Sub-Article A being increased to 25%. The Kenya Roads Board is going to increase to 25%. Other categories of roads are going to be increased even up to 38%. But then our governors are going to be given only 5% of the allocated funds. The county governments are only going to get 5%. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether colleagues have seen this, but even when we are arguing here for equitable share, we are now heading to more than 35%. That's the target. We want to go beyond 35%. The equitable share has grown over time. But Mr. Speaker, these roads now, they are saying county roads should be given only 5%. That is taking us backwards. And I hope senators will see this. I hope senators will reject this particular clause. They should adjust all the other categories of roads so that the county roads under Section 6 must be allocated more funds. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution in Article 203 says that for every financial year, the equitable share of the revenue raised nationally that is allocated to county governments shall not be less than 15% of all the revenues collected in the government. So 15% is the minimum amount. And we have left 15% a long time ago. Since when we started devolution, we are now heading towards 30%, 40%. So for somebody to put in a written law, which is subservient to the Constitution, that county governments are going to get 5%. Mr. Speaker, this is a joke to the Senate. And I would urge all colleagues to reject this particular clause that is trying to make our county governments lesser government than the national government, that is trying to create an unconstitutional clause. And Mr. Speaker, even if this law passes here, good civic-minded Kenyans should go to court to raise the percentage to a minimum of 15%. At least 15%. Our governors should get the amount allocated for roads. They should get a minimum of 15%, because the equitable share, according to the Constitution, Article 203, our county governments are required to get a minimum of 15%. So, Mr. Speaker, I take very strong issue with that particular section. Mr. Speaker, if you go again on the same page, the Kenya Roads Amendment Bill number 3, Bill 2025, it says on Sabbatical 4, that the board shall not approve any disbursement of funds to a county government unless the county government has made the requirements set out in subsection 5, A and B. What are these subsection 5, A and B? They have set out that we should set up a special purpose account at the Central Bank of Kenya. They should have a designated department or division responsible for maintenance and rehabilitation and development of county roads. So, Mr. Speaker, you know what this law is trying to do? This law is trying to make the board, the Kenya Roads Board, superior to a county government, so that the county government of Tana River now must comply with what the Kenya Roads Board is saying. Mr. Speaker, we should understand that there are two levels of government. The Kenya Roads Board cannot be superior to the county government of Tana River, the county government of Nairobi, or any other county government. The person who wrote this law must be a person who does not appreciate what devolution is all about. You cannot subordinate a county government, a whole county government, to a board. How can the Kenya Roads Board be the one to determine whether funds are going to be allocated to a county government? How does that happen, Mr. Speaker? How? When we are here as senators, our business, Mr. Speaker, is to protect the counties. This kind of law is nonsensical, and we must not pass it. And I pray that senators will look at it again. This is nonsensical. How can a board be dictating what a county government should do? That doesn't make sense, Mr. Speaker. If that be the case, then even the monies that we allocate here as the equitable share from the Constitution, then we should have a board to determine what should go to the counties and not what the Senate passes. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this should just be sent away. This kind of thinking is informed by people who are still in the central government, in the national government, and their minds has never bought devolution. This kind of thinking is supported by people sitting in the treasury who want to control the monies that ought to go to county governments. And Mr. Speaker, they don't actually support devolution. How do you draft a law like that? And listen to this, Mr. Speaker. Sabbatical 3 there says, the Cabinet Secretary shall utilize funds allocated to subparagraph 7, Roman 7, to provide for equity in roads, maintenance, road-related emergency, primary oversight, and administration expenses. Mr. Speaker, they are trying to make the Cabinet Secretary the prefect of roads, including to be a prefect of roads for even county roads, Mr. Speaker. So it is the Cabinet Secretary's, decision on how to utilize funds, how he decides. He's the one who determines. It's the equity of these roads maintenance funds. He's the one who determines what should happen. The Cabinet Secretary. I don't know if our senators are seeing this, that we are creating in the office of the Cabinet Secretary powers for him to decide the equity. Why? Already we know that we are entitled to 15% minimal using the principle of transfer of equitable share. And right now we are doing over 30%. So, Mr. Speaker, if you look at that, it does not make any sense. This person who drafted this law must be sitting in the office of the Cabinet Secretary. And this person who has made this proposition must be very happy that it has passed in the National Assembly. It will not pass in this place, Mr. Speaker. And I think senators need to be sensitized to the fact that we are creating a prefect here. Why can't the county governments themselves supervise what is supposed to be maintenance? Why can't they create the equity themselves, Mr. Speaker? Why can't the figures be determined, predetermined? So that if this year, Mr. Speaker, we are getting 30%, for example, on equitable share, it should automatically be here that we will get 30% of the funds allocated for roads to come down to the counties, Mr. Speaker, to come down to the governors. We don't need a prefect. We don't need the Cabinet Secretary to be a prefect over the funds that are going to the counties. Mr. Speaker, this kind of drafting will expose the national government and the taxpayers of this country to a lot of litigation, because this is an unconstitutional kind of law. This law is wrong, the way it is drafted. And Mr. Speaker, they even say at sabbatical 5D that county governments should submit 6 months to the board an annual road plan. An annual road plan to be submitted to another. So we pass as a county government, we pass our budgets, we allocate money, and then we say we need this kind of money, and then the CEC for the county government should then go outside from the county executive, go to Nairobi and submit to a different body called the Kenya Roads Board. What are they doing with our share? That the county executive for roads should go and submit an annual program to the Roads Board. Mr. Speaker, this is wrong. There's something, fundamentally wrong with the drafting of this law. This law is trying to tell us the Kenya Roads Board is superior to the county governments. This is trying to tell us the Kenya Roads Board is the one that should receive the annual program for making roads. Why? Why, Mr. Speaker? Is it that the Kenya Roads Board is another level of government? And we're supposed to be two levels of government? I reject, Mr. Speaker, this kind of thinking. We need county governments to get their fair amount of percentage, which is minimum 15%. The funds allocated to roads should automatically come. We don't want to be told, oh, you need to submit plans to the Kenya Road Boards, or you need to do what to the Kenya Roads Board, or it is the minister, the cabinet secretary who should use his discretion to ensure there is equity. Mr. Speaker, I want to, in fact, make a point before I forget it. Leaving anything to the discretion of minister, the cabinet secretary, and I'm speaking specifically, leaving anything to the discretion of Davis Chirchir, the current cabinet secretary for roads, is a mistake. Mr. Speaker, the county of Tana River, the last financial year, there was no tarmac road that was built. The previous financial year, there was no tarmac road that was built. The other year, there was no tarmac road that was built. Leaders from Tana River County, we have met this particular Davis Chirchir. Leaders from Tana River County, we have talked to him. I have talked to him myself, Mr. Speaker, as a senator. I have talked to the PS in this particular department. We have made again and again the point, I have written, Mr. Speaker, that the President of the Republic of Kenya made pledges, Mr. Speaker, pledges during the campaign that once I'm elected, I will do the Boji Road, I will do the Tarasa Tarmac, I will do the Kipini Road. And what are we talking about? 13 kilometers, a few kilometers here and there. No single tarmac, even 1 kilometer, Mr. Speaker. And now you are saying that we should leave discretion. Davis Chirchir, the discretion he will give you is just a smile and nothing. And I hope he's listening to me, that the people of Tana River are annoyed with you. And you are making the president to be a liar to the people of Tana River because he made these promises. And you are the cabinet secretary. And the PS, you are there. You listen to us. The people are going also to answer to this issue. Because and then you are writing a law here telling us we should leave some of these things to the discretion of the cabinet secretary. How, Mr. Speaker? Cabinet secretary cannot be trusted. The discretion cannot be left to an individual, Mr. Speaker. We do not want promises. County government, it's better even, Mr. Speaker, the amount is divided at 15%. It's better the equitable share is divided. Let that money come to the county. We don't want to hear stories and promises of people like Chirchir. We don't want stories. Let this money be divided automatically. Let the money go to the county government so that the county government can decide this 15% that we have received, we are going to do 1 kilometer tarmac this year, 1 kilometer tarmac next year, 1 kilometer. If this money had gone to county governments, Mr. Speaker, and I'm not speaking for only Tana River, I know many other county governments, they would have done at least 1 kilometer of road. Leaving this thing to the discretion of a cabinet secretary is wrong law, and we must oppose it as Senate, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this Kenya Roads Amendment Bill has something good, but it has missed the fundamentals. The fundamentals are that there are 2 levels of government, and these 2 levels of government, we have equitable share. And it cannot be that we are going to be subservient to the Kenya Roads Board, or we are going to be kneeling down to a cabinet secretary to decide how funds should be allocated according to his understanding of equity. The shares must be clear. We are tired of talking to people here in Nairobi. And an example has been given here. When people have offices, they develop their areas. They do roads in their areas. Mr. Speaker, it's on record here what Senator Onyonka was talking about. But they don't do for other areas. So we don't want people to depend on what the minister has promised or what they are saying. It should be automatic. Mr. Speaker, if it wasn't for devolution, there would be nothing in some of our counties. And it is true. And that's why we don't want any discretion. We don't want the Kenya Roads Board to be in charge, because again, when they appoint those directors, some of our counties don't get a chance to sit in those boards. They will appoint their own fellows, their own people. They marginalize us every day, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say, and I want to take the floor of this House to say, that Sahi, you believe that you are in power, you will do what you want, you will oppress the minorities in this country, you will refuse to develop our roads, but I'm telling you, it's just for a while, Mr. Speaker. And these laws that you are trying to develop, we will reject them in this Senate. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to support the clauses that are good and avoid and oppose the clauses that are negative to county governments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mogeni.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for also giving me a chance to make my contributions to the Kenya Roads Amendment Bill 25. And for the record, Mr. Speaker, I want to join my thoughts or link my thoughts with the thoughts of Senator Mungatana, that as a Senator of the Republic of Kenya, we should be very, very cautious, Mr. Speaker, while voting or rejecting this bill. Mr. Speaker, the devil is in the detail. The devil is in the detail. Mr. Speaker, if you read the clauses that are being amended, the intention of this bill is actually to weaken devolution. The intention of this bill is to take more powers on road construction and rehabilitation away from governors to be under the control of members of parliament. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you want to understand what I'm saying, you need to read the provisions of the law that are being amended. I would like to begin, Mr. Speaker, sir, with the proposed amendment of Section 6(2) of the Kenya Roads Board Act, which is trying to amend paragraph D. Mr. Speaker, the increase on the amount that are supposed to go to roads that are being defined as roads linking constituencies, that's money that is going to be under the control of a member of parliament. And Mr. Speaker, for some of us who are here in the last parliament, we rejected a law that was brought to this house that was couched almost in similar language. And we did make a proposal, Mr. Speaker, that if members of National Assembly should continue having a say in the selection of road projects in constituencies, then we as senators should also have a say so that there is parity. Because, Mr. Speaker, the current situation, I don't know whether you are aware, Senator Mungatana, the prevailing situation is that members of parliament nominate their staff from their constituencies to sit in the roads boards at the constituency level, so that they have a say in making a determination on the roads that will be assigned budget for certain projects, while the senator and the women rep and the governor have no say. So the amendment, if you read the amendment A, that is purporting to delete 20% and increase that percentage to 22 relates to roads that connect constituencies. And that's where the mischief is. I'd want to read. The first one says 22% which shall be deposited into a special bank account to be called Constituency Roads Fund Account to be maintained in every constituency. You get it? So this is money, Mr. Speaker, that goes and is by design under the control of a member of parliament in a constituency. Okay? Then if you go to B, it says 10% of the allocated fund is allocated for the maintenance or development of link roads between constituencies. Okay? Now, Mr. Speaker, how can you be talking about roads linking constituencies and you leave out counties? How can you say that you are allocating 5% as it's proposed here? Yes, 5% to county governments, as if roads in constituencies are separate from roads in counties. I mean, Mr. Speaker, if we need to connect roads in the constituencies in Bomet County, there is no distinction between a road that should be under the ambit of the governor and one that should be under the member of parliament, unless we want duplication, Mr. Speaker. So I agree with you, Senator Mungatana, that this law as drafted is for rejection. If it's not for rejection, then we need to undertake serious amendments to this law, so that if we are creating a special fund where the members of National Assembly have a say, then we need another bigger fund, because which is the bigger entity? It is the county. So, Mr. Speaker, the entity that should get more money for road maintenance should be the county, not the constituency, because a constituency is a smaller unit. And remember, Mr. Speaker, we are here to protect devolution. We are here to protect the interests of our 47 counties. That is our main role as senators, Mr. Speaker. If we enact this law, Mr. Speaker, we will be weakening devolution. And I agree with Senator Mungatana. We cannot put it in our minds that the only road that a governor can do is a Maram road. No. Mr. Speaker, if a national government can come to my county in Nyamira and give a contract to rehabilitate roads within Nyamira town municipality, 2.2 kilometers, award a contract, the money that I sent to Nyamira is more than enough to do that work. It's more than enough, Mr. Speaker. So we should, if we really want to develop this country, Mr. Speaker, let us stop these fights between counties, constituencies, and national government. Because the taxes we pay. Today, I fueled my car. I paid tax. The border borders in Nyamira today who fueled their motorcycles, they paid tax, Mr. Speaker. And I wish my friend Senator Cheragay had stayed in the House. I think we should implement the Commonwealth practice. When, Mr. Speaker, you make a contribution to a law, the Commonwealth practice dictates that you stay behind to hear what your colleagues will also say on a law. But you don't just talk and then you walk out. Yeah? Because I wanted to remind Senator Cheragay, and I think that time Senator Mungatana was a member of parliament, that this law was first developed in 2007 during the tenure of President Kibaki. And President Kibaki wanted fairness and equity in the development of our roads. That's why if you read the Roads Act that was passed by Parliament in 2007, it created 3 independent boards. Kenya National Highways Authority, it created the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, and the Kenya Urban Roads Authority. In recognition, Mr. Speaker, that once we collect our taxes, we give that money to those entities to ensure that there is fairness, so that we don't hear the agonizing contributions from Senator Mungatana that the president made promises to make roads in Tana River, which he has not fulfilled to date. That mandate, I wanted to read this law to Senator Cheragei, because he's a lawyer and he should be making statements that are backed by the law. It is a very bad thing to display ignorance of the law and you are a lawyer. Mr. Speaker, Section 4 says the functions of the authority shall be to construct, to upgrade, rehabilitate, and maintain roads, Mr. Speaker. Then H says they shall do the planning, development of roads. They shall prepare the roadwork programs for roads. It's supposed to be an independent entity. So when Senator Cheragei stands here and says the president is going to make this and such a road, no, we have put in place a framework that demands that we should have an objective criteria in terms of how we allocate our resources to have a connection of tarmac roads in the entire country. If you are a forward-looking leader, Mr. Speaker, you will never move your country to the next level by only developing one region. To develop this country, we must have tarmac roads in Nyamira, in Tana River, in Mombasa, in Kajiado. That's the only way you develop a country. But if you are not somebody who is wise, forward-looking, then you will think that the best way is to go and connect all tarmac roads in your region only. How will that develop a country? Because you need to do trade, inter-county trades. The people of Tana River should be able to trade with us in Nyamira. If we don't have bananas in Tana River, a good road network should deliver the bananas in Tana River. And if you have good fish, we should get that fish from Tana River to Nyamira. That's how you move the country forward, Mr. Speaker. But if you say you want to go to one region, for example, you pick if it's Nandi, and you make 300 kilometers of tarmac, and you leave the other regions of Kenya behind, you will not take this country anywhere, Mr. Speaker. And I want to tell my good friend, through you, Mr. Speaker, Senator Cheragei, a country is developed by successive regimes. It's not right to demean a very respected leader like the late President Kibaki. I mean, the late Mzee Kibaki is standing in his grave wondering what statements are being made here by Senator Cheragei. He's the one who, under his regime, we did thick highway, Mr. Speaker. If you go to Australia, the Australians will tell you that Princess Highway, Hume Highway, was built by successive regimes. Many prime ministers were in office.
Your time is up, Senator Mogeni. I will... just confirm from the gadget so that we don't also rob you of your time. All right, Senator Mogeni, proceed as we work on the time. There was a technical hitch.
Okay, yes.
Okay, you have got 7 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to give an example. Like, you go to Australia, Mr. Speaker, the road called Princess Highway, which was named in honor of, I think that was Prince Edward of Wales, was built by successive prime ministers. You go to Hume Highway, built by successive prime ministers, but completed, the lady who completed that work was Prime Minister Julie Goulet. But she did not mean the work that was done by the other prime ministers. She built on the success of the former prime ministers who were in office then. And that's what we should be doing as a country. If you have taken over leadership, you find work was done by President Kibaki, President Uhuru, you continue from there, Mr. Speaker, and acknowledge the good work that the previous presidents had done, Mr. Speaker. Now, there are some good things that have been proposed in this law. One of them is the issue of road maintenance. I had Senator Cheragay shower accolades to the CS, who is from your constituency. I have a lot of respect for the CS roads. But, Mr. Speaker, if you remember, CS roads was in this house when I raised a question of a bridge called Nyagaita Bridge near Kebirigo Market in my county of Nyamira, Mr. Speaker. And I said that road was tarmacked. The road from Metamayua, Mosobeti, Gesima to Kebirigo was completed 10 years ago. But there is a section of Nyagaita Bridge that has remained incomplete for the last 10 years. And the CS promised from the floor of this house that he was going to fix that road within 6 months. He did promise. Mr. Speaker, up to now, that bridge has not been fixed. Mr. Speaker, this bill is talking about money being allocated for road maintenance. We have a number of fantastic roads that were constructed during the regimes of President Mwai Kibaki, President Uhuru Kenyatta. Mr. Speaker, all those roads now are developing potholes because there is no maintenance of those roads, Mr. Speaker. And if we don't move in, as soon as yesterday, we'll find ourselves in the situation we were in 2002, when our roads are developed gullies, Mr. Speaker. So I want to make an appeal to the membership of the Roads Board. I know that subsequently, mischievously, not this House, but the National Assembly did amend the law to remove representations of law society from the Roads Board, and that was a very unfortunate thing. But there are still some organizations that nominate membership to the Roads Board to ensure, Mr. Speaker, that there is fairness, that there is equity in the way we allocate our resources for road construction, road maintenance, road rehabilitation. I want to appeal to the board, the Roads Board, to ensure that there is fairness and equity across the country. And I want to appeal to the President also to appreciate that there is always wisdom when we come up with these laws, Mr. Speaker. The first time, Mr. Speaker, that the Law Society of Kenya was given a chance to participate in making of, not even making, in making suggestions and contributions to laws that were being enacted by Parliament. The first time that was done was in 2007, when I was the chairman of Law Society of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. And that's when we passed this particular act, the Roads Board. And we borrowed from the law that had been passed in Australia, the National Highways, the National Roads Highway Act, if I've gotten the name right. And we wanted to pick the principles of fairness and equity that are captured in that law of Australia, Mr. Speaker. So let us not, Mr. Speaker, dismantle good laws for short-term expediency. Let us have a professional approach on construction of our roads, Mr. Speaker. That's the only way, Mr. Speaker, we will leave this country better than we found it, Mr. Speaker. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that on the good part of this law, that this law is barring what the very bad habits have been seeing around, Mr. Speaker, where our governors put billboards and then they put their picture and name and they say this project was done by Governor so-and-so. Mr. Speaker, using public resources as a campaign. You know, I am happy that this law is proposing that that should not be allowed. If you put a signage, Mr. Speaker, it should acknowledge that the road has been built by the taxpayers' money, because it is my taxes and the taxes of other senators that contribute to the construction of those roads. It's not anybody's money, Mr. Speaker. It is taxpayer. We pay a lot of money in the fuel levy, Mr. Speaker. So that's a very good proposal, Mr. Speaker. And I also appreciate, Mr. Speaker, the fact that this law is trying to bring some clarity in classification of roads. But I propose that we senators relook at this idea of classification, because the mischief here is to take away all roads from our counties. That's the mischief. Then why did we have devolution, Mr. Speaker, if by this classification you want to take away all roads? You know what is left there is just to say that the small, minute, the word used, the small, minute roads connecting small markets. I'm wondering, where do you leave roads of like the City Council of Nairobi, when you are saying that all city roads are transferred to the national government? Why is Senator Sakaja then taking a lot of rates from me as a man who owns a property in Nairobi, if he's not going to use that money to rehabilitate our roads in Nairobi? Mr. Speaker, there is a very, I don't know who drafted this law, whether it is somebody who wants us to do away with the devolution, whether it is a legislature in the National Assembly. I don't know what's behind the crafting, but the intention, Mr. Speaker, if you go to the details of this bill, the intention is to weaken devolution, Mr. Speaker. So I am appealing to all of us senators to take a very keen interest in this law and reject it. If not rejected, we make comprehensive and serious amendments to this law. If we allow it to pass the way it has been drafted, Mr. Speaker, we would have made a big contribution in weakening devolution. We will be the enemies of our county governments, Mr. Speaker. We will not have played our role of protecting counties and county governments, Mr. Speaker. So with those remarks, Mr. Speaker, we must be alert. We must be very, very alert, Mr. Speaker, so that we don't come here one afternoon and we are ordered that we must vote. Remember the petition that we discussed the other day, where somebody petitioned this house and said we are passing bad laws, doing impeachments in the wrong way because of political patronage. Let nobody direct us how we pass laws in this house, Mr. Speaker. Let us be given the freedom to vote how our conscience directs us. Let me vote knowing that I'm voting to protect the interests of the Kenyan public and of the 47 counties, not the interests of any one individual, Mr. Speaker. With those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support this with a caution that it can never pass the way it's been.
Thank you, Senator Omogeni. Senator Peris Tobiko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I make my contribution on the roads bill, on the Kenya Roads Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 34 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, let me say, if there is one subject that has been close to my heart